Hello YouTubers, it's that time of the year again. Book fair. Slim pickings this year. I had to go a little outside my normal range of books that I pick, but I just went with some old books that seemed a little interesting. There wasn't anything on machining or shops or anything like that. I couldn't find anything. What I did find was this old book. It is Commissioner of Agriculture, but it was printed in 1888. So I thought that might be a little interesting. There's some notes in here from God only knows when. Just might be some interesting time to look through that book. Here is the official 1968 Black Book of United States coins. It was $1. It's just got like the date of the coin and quantity minted, and it's got prices and stuff, but of course that stuff's all out of date, but it will give you the quantities that were printed in that year, which is kind of interesting to have. If You Ask Me by Eleanor Roosevelt. I don't know why I got it. It was just it's just an old book, 1940 something or other, 45, 46. I just thought it'd be interesting to read what she thought back then. Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook. Escape from Quicksand, Wrestle an Alligator, Break Down a Door, Land a Plane. All things I think I'll be getting into in not too recent or near future. Now here's one, Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. 1865. Nice big print, I ought to be able to read that. Now, something a little more interesting. Knives, 1984, the 4th edition. I think I got the first, second, and third downstairs. I haven't checked yet, but then I've got one of the current ones. So I bought this one. It's neat to go through there and get ideas on styles of knives and shapes and coolness. I love knives, so I thought add that one to my collection. Maybe I'll find some more someday. Gun Digest. It says, Dan Arnett, wonder who that is. 1972 Deluxe Edition. I'll look through that. I've got a lot of the old ones. This one here, I was thinking of Scott, Scodoer. Send me your address there in the private messages. You've been smoking a lot of cigars. I thought you might like this book, so I grabbed it. I'll send it down to you. Now, years ago, I forget who got it for me. My mom, probably. It was Walk Across America, and this Peter Jenkins walked from up northeast, clear down south. Then he had another book where he walked to the west coast, and then Road Unseen. I've read the other two. I thought I'd read this one. They were interesting reads. Now, my dad bought me this book back in the early 80s, and I always thought it was a neat book to have around, and every now and then I get back, go through it, and I just told my daughter-in-law, who's here in Ohio from Savannah, Georgia, running from the big hurricane. Her and my granddaughter and their dog, 2 dogs and cat, are visiting until things cool down there. I told her I'd give her this book because I've got a copy of it. And it's just neat stuff, and my son and her are both getting into this kind of stuff, and they're raising quail for eggs and meat, and it's neat. I don't even know what this book is. What is this book? I don't even remember. Well, that's the back. Old Clocks and Watches and Their Makers. I thought this would be handy because a lot of the guys who are metal detecting are finding old pocket watches and stuff like that. Well, these are clocks. Back here, it's former clock and watchmakers. Great big index of it. In fact, about half the book is all that, so if you find one and it's got a name in it, you might be able to look it up in here. But a lot of people are finding gears and stuff for clocks in the old homesteads, and I don't know if it helped. I just saw that's a receipt from November of 1974. Someone spent $10 back then. I don't know, I just saw it, and when you can buy a whole box of books for $5, I threw it in there. Here I saw a pocket watch. So I thought that might be handy to have something around. I don't know if I'll ever look any of this stuff up, but there's a bunch of pocket watches. So if you found a pocket watch and have a name or anything on it, might be able to look it up. Here's a bunch of pocket watches. So there you go, that's my haul this year. Not a whole lot to talk about, but some interesting stuff, I guess. Thanks for watching.